Okay, so we're here for our second coaching session, and this session is actually the learn part of the impact cycle. So we went through identifying the need or identifying the goal. Now we're going to actually learn how we're going to do that, and then the last step is to improve. So I provided you two checklists based off of what we came up with. We talked about doing some type of student collaboration. So looking at the turn to your neighbor checklist, we have students need to know who their learning partner will be before they start. What tasks, if any, they need to do before they turn to their neighbor. What tasks they need to do with their partner, the outcome, and how should they communicate. Is there anything you want to adjust on that list?
The list looks fine to me.
Okay.
Yeah, this looks fine.
So you're okay with doing the having the students pre-select their partners and knowing who their partner is before? And would you rather have them select a partner, or do you want to kind of group them based on, their
Yes,
abilities or?
it's okay for me if sometimes they would pick their partner, only because you would need that level of comfort whether
Right.
it be with.
So are you looking at it more of a because like I said, I have two checklists. We have one of a turn to your neighbor, so it's just kind of them working with a partner. Then the think, pair, share, which eventually starts as a small group collaboration, but can eventually become whole class. So looking at the think, pair, share checklist, is there anything on that you would want to modify?
That looks fine.
Okay. And then pretty much they kind of go hand in hand. They're pretty much the same things on the checklist.
Yes.
So which one would you prefer better? Just doing the turns to your neighbor where it's just maybe me and another partner, or the think, pair, share with me and another partner and eventually comes into like a whole class type of discussion?
Yeah, I like the think pair share,
Okay.
even though they both have the advantages and disadvantages.
Right, right.
But to me, the think pair share is more of a collaboration, whereas with turn to your neighbor, that doesn't necessarily, in terms of the exchange, it could be one-sided.
Right.
Whereas in think pair share, both individuals need to think and share. So
Okay.
yeah.
And I know we kind of mentioned discovery. So with these think, pair, shares, do you want it to be where, okay, let's say, I think the coming unit is circles, where you just kind of give them a general topic and they research it, or do you want to have already taught them at least something on that topic?
I would say having already taught something,
Okay,
that again, having since you have to think
right,
that they have something to kind of
right.
think
Perfect.
about this.
Okay. So when we model this strategy, there's a couple ways we can do this. You can do it with the students in the classroom. It can be modeled without the students in the classroom. We can watch a video or we can observe another teacher. So which one do you think we would probably prefer?
Observing, would work fine because it's current, I guess.
And I know that, we're all busy, so I would probably suggest observing or watching a video because you can always go back and rewatch it or see what did you miss and things like that. So probably looking at a video would be the best tool to model in that strategy. So we talked about we're going to use the think, pair, share checklist. We're going to do it where the students kind of know something about the topic before they dig in with their partner so they're not just completely lost. We're going to observe another classroom on the video and maybe me or another teacher that I see using the strategy effectively. But is there a specific tool you like to use? Because I know we talked about we want to build up our It's Learning and things like that. So are there any other specific tools we want to use for that collaboration?
Then we could still use the It's Learning.
Okay. And there's actually a great way to do group discussions in It's Learning. We can also have them register for their groups on It's Learning. It's a tool that you can use where they can select their partners. It's kind of like an anonymous registration, so they won't know exactly who their partner is until that list is closed and everybody has selected a partner. So if you have your computer, I can show you that really quick. learning page. So, we will of course go to resources. And let's say, we already have a Unit 3 folder. So let's say we wanted to add the registration. So we create events for registration. And it also has, let me go back. It also has, I don't know if you've seen it, that discussion piece. That I like to use as well. And it's also a tool on the discussion piece where you can make it, because a lot of students with discussion, they tend to, once you read the first two, they're all pretty much repetitive after that, because they tend to just copy and paste. But you can make it where they have to put in the original response before it allows them to see any other responses. So I kind of like that. So with the registration, let's just say we're doing groups for something. Let's say we have multiple options. So we have group 1, group 2, and so on. Okay. And depending how many people, like you may want it to be a group of 3, 2, but since we're just kind of doing pairs, I want all my groups to be groups of 2. So that way, It's Learning won't allow more than 2 people to register. So once the 2 people have selected that group, it will close down. So that's pretty much how you select groups, and you can have deadlines for it. If you want them to register by a certain time, you can allow students to re-enroll. Like for instance, they like, okay, I don't want to be in that group anymore, I want to select another group. You can allow them to re-enroll in groups as well, and then you'll just save that. And what you will see once you drop down this group, you will see whatever participants, and they'll see pretty much the same thing, but it'll have a checklist, like check group 1, group 2, and so on. So that's pretty much how we do the grouping in It's Learning. So let me go back and delete that. And then, like I said, with the discussions, so let's say we want to have students discuss describing the different parts of a circle or inside of a circle. I never hit allow anonymous posts because I want to know who's posting it. Yeah. Okay. And of course, that's the time frame. I'm looking for unless they change something. Okay, it usually has some settings for you to select. Unless they've changed something in It's Learning, I can kind of play with it and see, but it usually should have something that, a box for you to check to allow or to ask students to post before they can see other responses. So like I said, I have to play with that. That's pretty much how you set up groups in It's Learning, and how you also set up the discussion board, because I know we want to do a lot of partner stuff or collaboration. So I'm thinking, since we're kind of leaning more towards the observation side of it, I know we have an independent learning day on Monday. I'm going to, I know my geometry class, I only see them Wednesday and they're testing. So the following week, I can kind of do this with my geometry kids, and I'll record myself doing it, so that way you can come back and watch it, and then we can kind of see how it works, whether it was effective, whether we need to change anything. But other than that, I think we're pretty good to go. We have our Think, Pair, Share checklist that we're going to use for student collaboration. We're going to do it with It's Learning. We're going to create a discussion board, and then we're going to kind of do groups. Other than that, I think we're fine. Now, I may touch bases with you next week just to kind of see, because I know you see your kids every day, just to kind of see where you are, because your discussion topic may be a little different from mine because you'll be further in the unit. But it'll pretty much be the same concept. But other than that, do you have any questions for me?
None of this time, no.
Okay. Thank you so much. And this is it's learning that we are working on it, that we just modeled.